上嗰幾集帶大家玩咗上山下海嘅刺激活動，今集我哋返到嚟里斯本一齊行下動物園。唔講都唔知啊，里斯本嘅動物園呢，原來都有好多嘢睇嘅喎，長頸鹿啦、斑馬啦，仲有精彩嘅海豚表演。啱啱我哋喺入邊呢都見到好多小朋友，仲一齊玩得好開心添啊！下次你嚟到都可以一齊一家大細入嚟行下㗎。哇！今日咧帶大家嚟到里斯本嘅國際學校，一齊了解下呢度嘅學習環境，同埋同啲學生一齊玩下波波啊！近年嚟咧都多咗好多嘅國際學生嚟到里斯本讀書啦，好似呢一間嘅國際學校就有成90%嘅學生咧都係來自世界各地噶啦。等我哋而家一齊同呢度嘅老師傾下偈，了解下佢哋嘅教學理念，同埋同基金經理了解下究竟呢隻基金點解發展得咁成功啦。So hello Dash, can you tell me about the concept of this school?
Yes, Sharing School has a very unique concept because everything evolves around inquiry-based and project-based learning. The teacher becomes not the center of the learning, but the student is the one that promotes everything that happens in the classroom. We are facilitators, teachers facilitate learning, and the students are the ones promoting the learning. So it is a very unique concept. And one of our strengths is the fact that we adapted the school, the building, into the curriculum. So the IB is not a curriculum, the IB is a framework, is a structure, and that promotes agency, student-led, inquiry-based, project-based learning. And what we did is we transformed the building in an open space that goes in line with what the IB promotes. So that is very unique. And it's a very innovative way of learning that the students, I believe, love it, and I think has been a key element of the success of the school.
And how has this concept affect your teaching method?
It is very innovative. So the reality is that teachers come from a background that is very traditional, a classroom, a desk, teacher-led, and what happened is that we invested a lot in training, ensuring that our teachers feel confident to deliver lessons in an open space. So training, professional development, also the person responsible for the design of our school has been here in school promoting workshops to explain how this works, because this is new to Portugal, but it's not new for in many countries. So she came, she delivered workshops, and now the teachers with the years become more experienced. One important element is the fact that we retain our teachers, and that is really good because we are investing our time and training to guarantee they understand, and then if they leave, we need to start all over again. And the reality is that we have a very low percentage of teachers leaving, and therefore the quality of everything that we are doing improves year after year.
So having been working in this school for a number of years, how have you seen in terms of transformation?
Oh, it is gigantic, the transformation. This used to be, the building that we are right now used to be a bank. So we transformed the building in the amazing school that you see today. But the first building that we have was a Portuguese school with a very traditional framework. Very closed classrooms, walls, doors, tables looking at the board. So it was really interesting to see first how the board of the school truly embraced the idea of doing something different. And that was for me very important because I was a teacher for 17 years before joining the project, before joining our school. And to work with a board and a team that was in line with my vision of doing a school that is not a replica of everything that you see in Portugal was important. So we traveled together to see different things, and we were lucky to meet Roseanne Bosch at the IB Global Conference in Abu Dhabi. And we invited her to come to see the facilities and to help us in this process of transformation. So the school that we saw 5 years ago has nothing to do with what you see today. And also, it's a way of proving that not only we came to stay, but most importantly, that we know what we are doing and we are doing a good job.
And so since the launch of the new campus and facilities and design, how do you think the students has benefited from this?
Immensely. One of the things that we promote in our school is not just academic knowledge. We want our students to be good human beings, and that is super important to all of us. So in a classroom like the one that you are now, we will be promoting some of our approaches to learning skills. The ability to create eye contact when they are talking to someone, the ability to project their voice to an audience. We want our students to become confident and knowledgeable. But before all of that, there is a really strong work on their character. We want our students to be empathetic towards others. We want our students to respect themselves, respect others, and respect the environment. So being in a school like this that promotes a learning space that is flexible allows our students to understand that we also have a very important role in their education as human beings and not only as professionals in the academic field.
So lastly, can you tell me about any interesting stories?
Well, I can tell you one super interesting story, and it's about when we first opened the school. We opened the school on September 2019, and we were brand new in Portugal, and we were all excited about opening the school. And the last night, so this was on a Sunday evening, we were opening on the Monday for the first time ever. On the Sunday evening, the CEO of the school decided to put a TV in the hall to promote images of the students and to showcase some of the areas of the school. And this was super late. It was at 11 o'clock. So he was literally drilling the wall and he hit a pipe. So there was water everywhere. We stayed until, I would say, 4 in the morning cleaning. And the next day we opened the school with the TV hanging on the wall and nobody noticed anything. So for me, I always tell this story because building a school goes beyond your staff. When you really want to do things right, you need to lead by example. And for me, it's a privilege to be working with the board of the school. This example shows you a person that was there, and he's the CEO, the owner of the school, but he was all the way along us, helping us from the more important things to the cleaning of the school. So I think that the school has been the success it is because everybody has a very important role in what we want to teach our students. And once again, I think the more that we are role models, the better we are doing a good job.
Thank you so much for your sharing. I can truly feel your passion.
I love what I do. I truly love what I do, and I'm hoping to stay here for many years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, Gonzalo. Thank you for welcoming back for the school trip visit.
Hey, thanks Jenny for coming. It's a pleasure to have you here again.
Can you tell me about the core mission of this fund and what motivated you to create this fund in the first place?
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure to have you here again and have you on our campus again. So the sharing education funds, we focus on international education, so private schools in Portugal. And our focus and strategy is to acquire existing schools in Portugal, acquire existing private schools in Portugal, where we see an opportunity for development and expansion of the schools. So we first started with we had a school which was a part of our family. It was a small school in Madeira Island. We had around 40 students at the time, and me and my brothers, we picked up this project and we expanded from 40 students to 250 students in Madeira. We then opened the school in Lisbon, which is the one we are in right now, where we acquired the school with 100 students and grew it to 700 students, and we just acquired a new school in Algarve with also 100 students, where we are developing a master plan and developing the school to increase to 500 students. So our strategy is to acquire these schools, acquire schools that are in operation. So we don't want to build a building and create a school from scratch. We want a school that's already in operation and where we see the development possibility to grow the campus and increase the business.
And so what kind of criteria do you use to select schools? Is it like location or teaching method or concepts?
Yeah, so the teaching method and the concept is something that we bring. So we choose a school and then we change the teaching concept and the model with the sharing pedagogical concept, which is this concept that we will visit here today in the school and that you've seen before, which is a concept where the space is all built around the student. And so we work with a group of designers from Denmark. They have helped us redesign the whole spaces and redesign all classrooms, all spaces of the school, so that we have different learning areas. So we don't have just one classroom where the students are all sitting, looking straight, just memorizing content and then forgetting about it. They're working in a more dynamic way, different learning spaces. Like this space where we are sitting now is a classroom, so we can have some students in this sofa area, some students in the desks, so they have different flexibility and different options. And so this we bring. What we look for in a school when we're acquiring and looking for new projects is projects where we see a development opportunity. So when we see in markets like Lisbon, Madeira, Algarve, Porto, Comporta, these are strong markets at the moment, markets that are in need of international schools, and we look for small schools, schools that have an opportunity for development, but we are not looking to buy already the schools developed. We want to buy them with 50 students, 100 students, and then we can develop from there on, create the project, create the plan. Usually we take around 3-4 years to create to reach our targets, but that's what we look in the school.
So this fund was first set up in 2021, like back to 4 years ago now. How has it been performing?
Yeah, so the funds, we have created 2 funds already. So the first fund, we closed the subscription period. It was very successful. We had 2.5 years of raising capital. The target IRR of the fund is over 7%. And it went really well. We developed 2 schools with the first fund. We sold part of one of the schools with the first fund as well. So part of the exit strategy of the investment has already been done for the first fund, and we're talking only 4 years. So it was very done in a very quick way. And now for the second fund, we're investing at the moment in the school in Algarve. It's a big project for us. It's a very nice project with a lot of opportunity in Algarve at the moment, because there's not a lot of international schools and the market is really demanding more schools there. And we are looking very actively for more projects at the moment. Our next step and our bigger focus at the moment is Porto in the north of Portugal. Is the market that we are not present yet, but we see a big opportunity to be there, so we are looking. But as I mentioned, we are looking for a good opportunity for us and for the investors for a small school. As we already know how to develop the schools, how to grow them, we want to buy something small that doesn't seem so obvious, but that we see that we can develop and grow it.
I understand one of the special features of this fund is that there is a buyback option after year 6. And so can you tell me more about that, and also what is the target return per year?
Yeah, so we have a special category of investors, which are the Golden Visa investors that are investing in the fund for the Golden Visa program, where for these investors, we offer them a return of 4% per year during the first 6 years, and this is paid annually. And in the 6th year, or from the 6th year onwards, they are able to exercise a put option, where we will do the buyback of the investment. So during the first 6 years, they receive 4%, and after the 6th year, they can exercise this buyback, where we will buy back. If they don't want to leave in the 6th year, if they prefer to stay longer than the 6 years, we will pay them a 6% per year instead of 4% from the 6th year onwards. But this is very interesting for the investors because, as you know, the new changes in the Golden Visa program mean that it starts counting from the moment you submit the documentation. So 5 years should be more than enough to get the Golden Visa. However, if they want to stay longer as investors and they want to follow the project, they can stay longer, and that's an option they need to make later down the line.
In terms of return, if someone make the investment right now, say in March 2025, when will they be expecting to receive the first return?
Yeah, so they should expect to receive the return next year when we make a distribution of dividends. If for whatever reason the fund does not make a distribution of dividends, they will get that return once we exercise the put option in the 6th year. So that's the option for the investors.
So apparently this is looking a very safe investment, but in terms of risk, what sort of potential risk do you think it is involved?
Yeah, so we usually say this is a conservative investment. There's obviously always risk in any type of investment. From our side, the risk that we would see is the market. If for any reason there's a market change and the foreign families and international families stop coming to Portugal, which has not been the case for the last couple of years, and and this is increasing more and more. So we're seeing more and more families coming to Portugal. However, if this decreases, what we are doing to mitigate this risk is that we are working to attract more Portuguese families as well. And so at the moment in our schools, we have around between 80 in total, between 80 and 90% of international students, and the rest are Portuguese families. But we are working more and more to get more Portuguese markets so that we can be a little bit more stable in case anything changes.
So talking about the future, how do you see international schools here in Portugal will be growing?
Yeah, I think the international schools and schools in general, they need to change their shift. Because when we look at different industries and different sectors, if we look at the past 50 years, they have been evolving a lot. So if you look, for example, at the medicine or healthcare or aviation, manufacturing, all of these have been changing for the past 50 years in a dramatic way. And I'm sure me and you, we wouldn't go to a dentist of 50 years ago. We wouldn't go to that dentist today. But we are sending our kids to the same schools of 50 years ago, exactly the same school. We are changing the furniture, we are changing the space, but the school and the way of teaching is the same. And so that's why I see we need to change that. We need to do this investment in education. Education is the strongest pillar. Well, when we talk about industries and all the sectors, education is the foundation of all of that. And so we need to change how learning is done. And we need to motivate the students to be in the school, ensure they are happy to be in the school, and above all, understand that everyone learns in a different way. If we have a class with 20 students, we have 20 different ways of learning. Some students prefer to work individually, some like to work as a group, some like to work in quiet spaces, some like to work in loud spaces. So we need to be able to be flexible, adapt the space, and this is what we have done in our schools. Working with this designer from Denmark, with Rosen Bosch, she created this fantastic space where the students love coming to school, and that's why we have all of our schools operating with a maximum capacity. We have a wait list in all schools, and that's why we have a master plan to develop even more, because when the families visit the school, they just love to see the space, and the kids love it.
I actually love the space. When I come here last time and again here this time, I just wish like I could be studying here as a student. So thank you for your sharing today, and I wish you continued success with you and the schools.
Thank you very much. It was a
Thank
pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. 今日帶大家走到入嚟里斯本嘅校園，同呢度嘅小朋友一齊玩波波，真係好開心啊！如果你係黃金簽證嘅申請人，而你又對教育業係有興趣嘅話呢，就可以考慮呢一隻嘅教育基金啦。基金嘅一期係當年21年嘅時候成立，隨住幾年嘅時間，已經為呢一個校園帶嚟咗好多新嘅設施，仲起咗個新嘅 building 添啊！目前呢，基金已經發展到去第2期，而且佢哋亦都將投資呢進一步擴展到去葡萄牙唔同地方嘅學校。作為葡萄牙黃金簽證嘅申請人，最快可以喺第6年或者之後進行回購，即係話到你他日攞到國籍嘅時候，就可以用原價攞翻你嘅本金啦。而喺投資期間呢，申請人係每1年嘅預期回報係會去到4%嘅。呢一樣嘢都已經係好清晰咁寫咗喺基金嘅 management rules 入邊㗎啦。好啦，今集就講到呢度啦，下集我哋將會帶大家走入農場，一齊去摘橙啊！約定你記得收睇啦，拜拜。